On Apple Podcasts, Omni Studio, and wherever you get your podcasts, I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist. This week, the main studio rule. Yes, there's change in the air, literally, in the US, the world's biggest radio market. Since 1934, the FCC has had a rule that a radio station must have a main studio within its transmission area, and it must also have a meaningful management and staff presence, which means full-time staff during business hours. Until now, because the FCC have just voted to eliminate this rule. As a local radio station, you now just need a local telephone number, except they also allow a national toll-free number. So really, you need nothing local at all. No local studios, no local voices, no local office, no local address, no local telephone number. You'll need to read the name of your place of license once an hour and your legal ID and those all-important call letters. But other than that, your station can come from a server thousands of miles away and be delivered direct to a transmitter in the middle of nowhere. Grizzled old radio presenters are, of course, up in arms about this because to them a Nowheresville radio station should be from Nowheresville, where they can play Nowheresville's biggest mix of Doobie Brothers hits from a crappy rundown studio in Nowheresville and astonish Nowheresville's residents with their knowledge of the Billboard charts, tell us it's going to be a hot one today in Nowheresville, play 10 songs in a row for Nowheresville, including a great song from the Doobie Brothers, and then sit and bitch on an internet forum somewhere about how better radio was 20 years ago. Well, let's be clear. The abolition of the main studio rule is the best news for US radio and US radio listeners for many years. It means that networks radio stations can drop the pretense of being local. They can invest in the biggest and best radio programming. They can junk all of these pointless, old-fashioned local names and horrible, underinvested office space to offer a great-sounding national, real and relevant radio station. Nobody refuses to watch Stephen Colbert or Games of Thrones because it wasn't made in Nowheresville. So for that audience, radio will be better, more exciting and more highly produced. Marketing for that radio station can be national, moving into the big league. National advertising rates will increase. Radio will be a better and less confusing option for national advertisers. Audience figures will increase. Radio will go up. This is a happy day. But just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. So we'll also see properly local radio stations all of a sudden being a gift as many of their local competitors give up. Fewer stations pretending to be local because they rent a space on Contra down the strip mall with a cheap console with a fader permanently on network, where Bob, the GM and sales guy, goes to have a nap after lunch. What remains of their local presence will disappear. And now you, a radio station that wants to play the local card, can now do so safe in the knowledge that you have far fewer local competitors. If local means something to your community, well, brilliant. The FCC have let the stupid people sign their own bankruptcy note so you can own local. You can invest in news and local presenters, and you can be at every local event going. You'll get the lion's share of local advertising, audience figures will increase, radio will go up. This is a happy day. The only stations that the main studio rule's abolition will hurt are the ones who mistakenly believe that listeners in Nowheresville care that the voice telling them that this is the first Doobie Brothers track where Michael McDonald took lead vocal is sitting in a studio just above a closed pizza joint in the high street. They really don't, you know. Instead, the abolition of the main studio rule benefits everyone in US radio. Those that want to play national can now do so in a better and more cost-effective way than before, and those that want to play local have the incredible gift of far, far fewer competitors. Whatever style of radio you want to listen to, you'll get a better sounding station. Radio will be the winner. This is a happy day indeed. You can get my weekly newsletter at james.crid.land and daily podcast news at podnews.net. And until next time, whether local or national, keep listening.